Say when. Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Nina, and I'm doing Bible school this morning. And the subject matter is angels. So before we get started, I was wanted to ask each of you individually, like Nick, when you think of an angel, what's your concept?
It goes back and forth between like a human with wings, something with a bunch of eyes.
Okay. And how about you, Charlie?
Oh gosh, mine is very warped by pop culture, and so all I'm thinking about are these angels from Has-Been Hotels who are kind of scary to look at, and they're not really nice. But I don't think that
Has-Been Hotel, aren't they demons technically?
No, they're angels too.
Oh, okay.
yeah, they're just kind of rude. But we're not pop culture is not at all accurate to biblical history. So mix that association.
How about you when you think of
I don't
angel?
know. I don't think of it.
I really do you answer.
Oh no, it's true. I mean, I haven't really thought a lot about it because, like you say, the descriptions that we see of them in heaven are not necessarily what they look like when people experience them on earth. So, yeah, the faces and the wheel of eyes, and they don't really look like they do when people have reported it. So I really have thought a lot about it.
Okay, well, there's actually a study, a word for a study of angels. And there's actually a lot.
They should know that. Ask them what it is. They should know what the term is.
What is it? After from demonology.
Yes, you should know what this is.
You're going to feel silly when I tell you.
Angelology.
Yes! Oh, good. Good.
There we go.
And that means the study of angels. Now, in studying the angels, every culture, every religion, every um, country on earth has their own concept of what an angel looks like. And basically, the concept of what they are or what they do is the same. Because in every description of every different religion and culture, somehow in there the word messenger comes out. So they're a messenger. But I could have done a study on just Islam or on just Christianity or on just Latter day Saints. So there's a lot of information. So I try to pick out um, the most important and relevant and maybe things that you had never heard before. Okay, so angels are described as heavenly spiritual beings created by God to serve Him. They tend to appear as mysterious creatures that seem to come and go in and out of different situations as quickly as they appear. They were created higher than mankind. They are a higher order of beings created by God and superior to man, but inferior to God. It's clear from all the research that God is always superior. Angels are his messengers, his servants, and we as humans should not be so presumptuous as to refute them or say they don't exist just because they are on our not on our we can't touch them or sometimes we can't see them. Some people I read a lot of stories about people who actually claim that they have seen them or it happened to them. So my from everything I read, I believe that it does happen because there's just no other explanation for what happened. They're created as intermediaries between God and humanity, and they're both good angels and bad angels. The bad angels are known as fallen angels. They refuse to remain obedient to God and carry out His will and His plan. They're under they are under a subject to they are under and subject to His authority and judgment. They are not to be worshipped or prayed to. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. They're known as fallen angels. I didn't want to elaborate on that too much because we all know the fallen angel. And whenever we get into anything about angels, who comes up? Huh? Satan. And the negative, because I mean, sort of said something like that, you know. So I really am not going to talk about Satan because we all know he's a bad guy. We all know he's a fallen angel. We all know that he disobeyed and was, you know, disloyal to God, and he got thrown out. There you go. Okay. So angels are under and subject to the authority and judgment of God. They are not to be worshipped or prayed to. It distracts from God. There's a time in our history when it was evident that angels were becoming more into into the limelight, and people were, and that was during the time of the New Age era.
They still do it. You see it online that they say an angel told them that Trump was going to win the election, or there are people that still do it.
But it was very prevalent, so prevalent that the people in the churches were really concerned that they were people were, praying to them and looking to them instead of to God. It appeared that God had taken second place and had disappeared altogether at times. So they wanted to, in the writing, it said that our faith is in the God that we serve. Oh, the etymology of the word angel comes from modern English, from the Old English word engel, E-N-G-E-L, and the Old French word angela, A-N-G-E-L-E. Both are derived from late Greek word angelos, meaning messenger. Angelos is the Septuagint translation of the Bible term M-A-L-A-K, M-A-L-A-K-H, also meaning messenger.
Like Malachi.
Huh?
Oh, like Malachi means my
Yes,
messenger.
right.
Malachi.
Okay, I'm just going to give a description of all the words, I guess you'd say they were adjectives that I came across. I wrote them down by people who've seen them, by different cultures. They describe them as brilliant, radiant, many colors, floating clouds, ghost-like a ball of light. That was used a lot. Messenger of the divine, laughter, happiness, unbearable white light, messenger of hope, calm, serenity, rainbows, visions, visible and invisible, wings and no wings. So I just wanted, this was a picture of a guardian angel with children. This is Catholic. And this is just a picture of the Archangel Michael. And it's in the cathedral in Khartoum, Sudan. Now that's Canada. It doesn't, it's so, it's different from this one because this is rather plain.
That one I would say is older. That's
This one.
A much older. That's very Victorian European. That one I would say is probably a mosaic. It's medieval. Maybe earlier, yeah.
Do you think it has a feminine look?
They usually do.
Yeah. Well, this is Michael. That's why.
Yeah. Michael is very effeminate looking. If you look on the demonology cover, that's Michael.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Where's
the book? I was going to say that's also Michael.
I'll be right back. Here it is. No, I think that we should advertise your book too.
Oh, sure. Okay, awesome. Yes. But now look at how feminine that looks.
Little androgynous.
Yeah, the battle, the idea of the battle and the look at
Mhm.
that is, it should be on the top page where
It's
the
a-
copyright is, what the picture is. Next page. Yeah, it should say what it is.
Oh, Michael the Archangel by Claudio Choello. All photographs for the book. Yeah, of Italian.
Yeah.
You would have a picture by an Italian fella.
Well, it's a very,
No.
very famous image of Michael the Archangel, and now parallel that with the one that you found. That one's German, I think. They're very classical European features versus the one you found that's from Africa. That's also is probably older.
And just a couple words. Dreamlike people, like people likeness, winged animals, and the guardians of the earth. And this is the compass points, and it tells us that Gabriel is guarding the north, Uriel the south, Raphael the west, and Michael the east. Okay. They come in both male and female. They have personalities, superhuman strength. It was said that the tomb where Jesus was buried, the stone weighed about 4 tons. And then the angels were the ones who rolled away the stone.
How did they get it there in the first place?
I
Probably
don't
used
know.
like a wedge for 4 tons.
I don't know. They
That's what it
probably-
said.
Listen, the Romans were real smart, and so they probably used a lot of like.
Okay, fair.
They have emotion, they're intelligent, they have wills, they are good or evil, and they have angelic abilities. They don't procreate. And they serve both heaven and earth. They have no material bodies, and they are not subject to death. And they went through another period where they were romanticized by the media and the press. And one example would be, I don't know if you ever watched Touched by an Angel. And I don't know if Highway to Heaven would be considered romanticized.
It's not accurate.
No, well, none of them really
Okay,
are.
that's fair. None of them are. I mean, that one is very inaccurate, but yeah, they're
But they're just saying that it hurts their image when they're romanticized like that, or people believe that, or they want to believe that. So that's not good. Just a little bit of history. They're said to be winged spirits, part of the mystery of every culture. The Vikings call them now. This is, you have to forgive because I probably am not going to say them right.
yeah, I can't help you.
Valkrus, Valkyrus.
Oh, like Valkyrie.
Like Valkyrie. Yeah.
Mhm. In Persia, they are called Ferehta, Ferhecta, and Alakh.
Alka.
In the Hindus, call them Asporas, Apsporas, Apsoras. In Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, ancient Syria, Mesopotamian thought, they're called angels. That was an easy one. In recorded history, there were visible traces of angels in art and pictographs in the Euphrates Valley. Archaeologists uncovered a stele, which is a stone like a headstone, or pillow, engraved monument or gravestone that depicts a descending winged angel. The Bible includes specific historical encounters with angels. It covers about 2,100 years from 2015 BC to 95 AD. It begins with Abraham in Genesis and continues until the time of John's prophetic verses in Revelation. The story of Abraham and the angels is one of the first encounters mentioned in the Hebrew scriptures. The story is over 3,000 years old. Although there are different renditions of the story, there are always angels in it. The Sadducees did not believe in angels except as human fantasy, and the Pharisees believed in them.
Nothing. I told you they were the deists of their day.
History books of the Old Testament only mention the angel of death. In later books, they became known as the benevolent, semi divine beings. In Jewish tradition, angels were masculine. In the Middle Ages, Christians angels took on a more feminine appearance. Today, they are seen as both masculine and feminine. In 300 AD, angels can be seen in pictures in the catacombs in Rome. In 306 to 337 comes Constantine again. He increased the angelic images and carved angels of children. In the
What?
children,
So, like, you mean he depicted them as children, or he had
carved
pictures
angels of
with them?
children. No,
So, like, the angels were depicted as children.
yes.
Like a little cherub.
Yeah, why? I don't think that's really weird. Why do you think that's weird? That's what people think of. A lot of people think of them as.
Reflect innocence or something.
Maybe purity. I guess so. Now, like you were saying to me, how do I picture angels? I have never pictured them as children.
Haven't you seen
I've
them?
seen, like, there's that very famous painting that I think is by Raphael or Donatello. It's one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're sitting on the cloud and they're like this. It's a really, really famous picture, but they were cherubs. I never thought of them as being children. I guess I never made.
But another term people do use for children is a cherub.
I've never heard anybody call it that. So that now.
Especially young children or a baby with a really round face, really kind of chubby.
I don't have a romantic view.
I have never thought about. I mean, I guess I never made that connection because, like, when people say, "Oh, your baby died and now he's an angel," I scream internally because angels are not dead children. They're different.
But there is a culture that believes that.
Well, it's not a biblical culture.
I don't know if there was something in here about that. Okay, in the 4th century, we see paintings of angels with wings, halos, and streams of light. Okay, here are some religions. Zoroastrianism. The idea of angels as embodied of God emerged under the influence of Zoroastrianism. There are
under Zoroaster. If that makes it easier, that was the guy.
There are 3 angel-like figures in Zoroastrianism. Each one has a guardian angel called Frashi, Fravashi. And there's no reference to them as conveying messages. Their second angel was Amesha, and the third one is Ashura Mazda. Nobody's going to remember.
Ahura Mazda.
Ahura, right. Mm-hmm. Wise Lord, aspects of creation that they're involved with. Okay, then we have Judaism, and we have Malak, which Malachi, messenger of supernatural beings who stand by God in heaven. In the Hebrew Bible, the Torah uses Elohim, messenger of God, Yahweh, messenger of the Lord, Hakudaism, holy ones. Later texts use Halionim, meaning the upper ones. In early books, the term referred to human messengers. The late books came to mean benevolent, semi-divine beings. Daniel is the book that's referred to individuals by name. He refers in his dream or his vision to Gabriel and Michael, and that's the only place where they are called by name. In post biblical Judaism, angels took on a particular significance, personality, and role. In Christianity, early stage messenger of God, messenger in both Old and New Testament, minister or serving servants sent by God. Later on came identification of individual angels, messengers, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Uriel. In the space of 2 centuries, the third to the fifth, their image took on definite characteristics in both art and theology. But there was a lot of pictures in one of the books that I used, and he doesn't look the same in any of those. You know, different people, like I said. But it's a really good lesson in how, when you read something, you really have to be careful because everybody puts their own stuff in it. So I don't know what Michael looked like. I can't tell you what he looked like or any of the others because every picture that we see is different.
I guess that maybe some of it also we could argue for what you're saying,
Mhm.
that in different eras they've appeared differently in order to be accepted. So, like when the angels appeared to Lot in Genesis, they appeared as people. In other words, he didn't know that they were even angels until they revealed that. So they must not have had wings because that would have looked weird. And then it's like the Renaissance idea, like Mary, like I'm thinking of a very famous painting of the Annunciation with Gabriel and Mary. And you all would probably know it if you saw it. I don't remember who painted it, but he looked like a guy in the Renaissance with wings that was kind of effeminate looking. So what I guess my guess would be is from age to age, their image has changed in order to be understood and received by the people of that era. So those images of angels must have come from somewhere. Someone had a vision or somebody saw something and it looked like that and they attributed it with that. Also that too, yeah.
The other thing, what just struck me when you were talking, that could be the appearance has something to do with the task.
For their rank. Like
so
what
I
they
mean,
do.
not a man isn't gonna. At the Annunciation, the angel was real angel-like. You know what we perceive as angel-like. It wasn't a person.
Well, in the artwork, I mean, we don't really know.
Right, but I'm saying, but it came to her real angel-like because the task was to tell her something that was kind of miraculous was going to happen. So maybe it has to do with the task. Like Lot, those they came as men, right?
Yeah,
So I mean, if he would have, if that angel that saw Mary would have showed up with this, they wouldn't have had the same reaction. They might have ran.
Mary, well, being alone with now, and that would be a whole other thing. Mary being alone with some strange guy in a room.
That's true. It has a lot of
That
implications.
that would have had a whole other thing in which she's going to say, this guy just appeared in my room and everybody's going to look at her. I mean, no one probably believed it, but you know, everybody was going to look at her like, okay. Or like that passage in Job, remember that when we picked up on where it says that Satan walked in with the other angels to go into the presence of the Lord, and I said, what was he doing there? You know, and
he wasn't invited.
He wasn't invited, and there was a meme. We made the meme with the guy in the purple hooded sweatshirt and sunglasses, heads and tails above everybody else. Or Satan trying to blend in with the angels going into the throne room, you know, kind of thing. And so that would make sense too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Based on the Psalms, Christians believe angels were the first beings created by God before the creation of the world. And I saw that in a couple of places where before he even did the 7 days, they were created.
It's probably from Kabbalah.
In the late 14th century, the church fathers agreed to a category of angels with appropriate missions, activities assigned to them. There's still disagreement as to the nature of angels and their spiritual makeup. They're still arguing in those, those groups.
It can't be argued about. There's arguments about it.
Everybody wants to put their concept into it. Islam, belief in, now this was a surprise to me, belief in angels is fundamental in Islam. The Quranic word is Malik, being controlled, ability to govern affairs assigned to them, or from the root word. Now, they didn't give a word, they just gave like 3 letters. LKL was one, and LK was another, and MLK was another, or a broad meaning messenger. The Quran refers to both angelic and human messengers as Rasul,
Rasul.
instead. Quran principal source for Islamic concept of angels. Quran is the principal source for concept of angels. Angels created through light, not limited to benevolent tasks, also carry out grim orders, asked to guard and punish sinners in hell.
Mhm.
Angels are seen as in Islamic theology, astrology, philosophy. Belief in angels remains one of the 6 articles of faith in Islam. I find that interesting because they just don't seem like a group of people that's into.
But they believe Gabriel gave the Quran.
Oh,
That they believe that the angel Gabriel brought the Quran down from
thanks
heaven.
for that. That
So
explains it.
So if you don't believe in that, then you
You're
don't believe in
forget
the
it.
entire revelation. Right?
Forget
Yeah.
it. Okay, this is Latter-day Saints. Angel messengers of God are sent to deliver messages to mankind, minister to humanity, teach doctrines of salvation, call men to repentance, give priesthood keys, save individuals from perilous times, and guide mankind. Huh?
That's such a resume.
Yes. They believe angels are spirits of deceased humans and those who are yet to be born. Resurrected humans or translated and have physical bodies of flesh and bones. They believe Michael was and is Adam, the first man. They also believe that Gabriel lived on the earth as Noah. Joseph Smith said that angels who belong to the earth or have belonged to the earth are angels. Angelic visitations were witnessed by Smith and Oliver Crowley before the establishment of the church in 1830. The Prophet Moroni, John the Baptist, apostles Peter, Paul, James, and John, they said that these people all came to them.
And there's like 10 different versions of that. Some are an angel, some are those, some are the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. There's like 10 different versions of this story.
After the church was dedicated, they stated they were visited by Jesus, Moses, Elias, and Elijah. Many others involved in the church have stated they were visited by angels. Smith remarked that except in extenuating circumstances, such as restoration, mortals teach mortals, spirits teach spirits, resurrected beings teach other resurrected beings. So what he was saying was that it didn't happen to the others. And is that right? Would you say by that remark?
You really want me to answer because I honestly don't know what he meant.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
Gonna say,
All right.
I'm going to say you're probably on the right track. That, in other words, he was elevating himself
Right.
and his experience. And there is another story that, like Islam, which I didn't think about until you were talking about them back to back. It's another angelic revelation story. So the angel Moroni was actually a fallen Native American warrior. And they believe the angel on top of the temples with the
With the
that's
horn.
supposed to be Moroni.
Yeah, right.
And they believe that the angel Moroni guided him to the cave where the plates were that he translated that became the Book of Mormon. And so that's when you were saying that I was going, that kind of reminds me of the angel Gabriel thing, although it has a very unique, weird Mormon twist to it.
And the way he described it happened. He was sitting in a room, and then the light came in, and yada yada. But well, that's this one said he was
Yeah.
in. He said this was like his description. He was in a room and it got real lighted and yada yada. But he could have seen it, and it whatever he transpired doesn't mean that he took it the way the angel wanted him to. You know what I'm saying? He said something, the angel and him or whatever, and because the church turned out to be a little bit over here.
I don't know that I believe Joseph.
It's
Some people I do. Some situations I might say that. There are just too many accounts and variations on what he supposedly experienced from his own testimony that I believe it happened. And he was known as kind of being showy. So I don't know. I don't know that I believe Joseph Smith. I might believe other people.
I mean, the first encounter sounded like what people relate, but when he starts telling us he saw Jesus, and
it just shouldn't join any church because they're all apostate. That was also.
I'm not judging it. I'm just saying it. I was a little bit skeptical.
Yeah.
How's that? Okay.
And I'm confirming that for you.
Okay.
That's a good thing to be with his story.
And then there was a lot of quotes by this man, things that he said, the next church, and it's called Swedenborgianism.
By Emanuel Swedenborg.
Right. Theologian Emanuel Swedenborg ideas about angels and spiritual worlds in which they dwell. He believed angels originate from the human race and are in human form with a spiritual body.
Yes, we talked about it in demonology.
Not just minds without form. There are no angels in heaven who did not first live in a material body. All children who die enter heaven and eventually become angels. There are 3 orders of angels according to 3 heavens, each angel dwelling in one of an innumerable societies of angels. Each angel enters a service according to a service he performed on earth. It can only be seen when the spiritual light is open due to man's sinful nature. Each person has at least 2 evil spirits and 2 angel spirits. Angels lead people to good. Okay, now in Christianity says that angels come in 3 spheres, and this is what this picture is. This is a beautiful picture, and it just shows you the 3.
It's just in black and white.
The 3 spheres of angels, which I'm going to tell you about. The first sphere has the seraphim, which are attendants or guardians of the throne of God. Now, this says they have 6 wings to cover the face, 2 to cover the feet, and 2 for mobility, making them able to fly. The cherubim are the second ones in the first sphere. They're the glory of God. They appear to be as people, and they're double winged. See, now some places say they don't have wings, and some
it might be too. Maybe they have them there, but like they're not necessarily something that's visible when people see them. Because, like you just described, we also may not be seeing like Mary saw Gabriel, who's of a certain rank. Gabriel's considered like probably a seraphim. I would say cherubim or seraphim. So you may not be able to hide 6 wings. I mean, like there are different orders of them, and there are ones that are more commonly interacting like with human beings. So you might be seeing a different rank too.
And the third one in that first sphere is thrones, which are above the universe, where heaven and earth, where heaven and the universe meet. They are intermediaries to the lower ranks of angels to assess God. The second sphere are the dominions, which are lordship, angels of leadership. They notify angels of God's instruction. Then there's the virtues. They have strongholds, spirits of motion, responsible to control the elements and dominate the changing seasons and natural order of creation. They control miracles and miraculous signs. They help humans against evil forces, and they fight evil spirits who work through them. Oh, that was I'm sorry. The second sphere was dominions, which was Lord of Angels, angels of leadership. They notify angels of God's instruction. Then we have the third sphere, which is the principalities, rulers, and archangels and angels. The rulers, spiritual beings, are hostile and they intolerant to God and humans. You know, there's something that we say, isn't there a prayer about praying against principalities?
It's in Ephesians, isn't it, that we against flesh and blood, but against powers, principalities, and the principalities. Something. Oh, the prince and power of the air. Yeah.
So I thought principality, I didn't really know really what they meant by that. You know, so. Rulers, spiritual beings, highly and intolerant to God and humans, created by Christ for him became hostile to him, but still served his purpose. Archangels, leading angels, unique messengers at critical times in salvation history. They're not necessarily the same as the word archangel, which refers to the chief angel, such as Michael the archangel, considered a seraphim. Angels, the general category of angels closest to human beings. This is the third sphere and the lowest. Human beings and issues that affect the material world. Their primary job is to deliver prayers to God and God messages from prayer. They can assess any other rank or choir of angel at any time. The seraphim is the highest order. They say they're 6 wings surround the throne of God. Unceasingly, holy, 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 love, light, and fire. The cherubims are the guardians of fixed stars, keeper of celestial records, bestower of knowledge. One of the things they said was that there's so many angels, you can't count them. They're just thousands and thousands. And then when I looked at this, because that's what we just talked about, those 3 levels, there's a lot of them. Throughout history, there have been many theologians, writers, and scholars who have written books, papers, literature, poems, stories about angels. The pages are filled with pictures and paintings depicting their concept and their idea of angels. Thomas Aquinas, St. Augustine, William Blake, Mary Baker Eddy, C.S. Lewis, Dante, to name a few. Most important writings were not put in the Bible. The Studiographic and Deuterocanonical writings, including the Book of Jubilee, the books of Enoch. You guys know all of these, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Book of Tobit, the Testament of Moses, the Apocalypse of Abraham, the Apocalypse of, and so forth. These writings are filled with angels visions, information about the earth and creation and heaven. I was really impressed. The writings, the descriptions are beautiful. They things in nature and on the earth, and they must be read to feel the impact. The writing is quite vivid, intense, graphic, and intense at times. There was stuff about hell, and yeah, so.
Hell.
Yeah, somebody, I guess, oh, these angels were assigned to torture.
it is it, it is evident from all the information that angels do exist, whether believed or not, curious and mysterious things have happened which cannot be passed off or explained away with logic. I have read many stories about human encounters with angels. Angel encounters are part of most religions and cultures. They are found in the Bible, in both the New and Old Testament. They carry messages, help people, and are guardians and helpers. Maybe you have encountered an angel. And I think that I might have. And so I wanted to tell this story. I was coming home from North Carolina and I wanted to go get straight home, and it was still light when I left, but I don't know what happened. It got dark, and I got lost. I got lost, and I had no idea where I was, none at all. I get off the highway, and I think I might have been in Pennsylvania. I'm really not sure where it was, and I was riding around in the streets. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I passed a whole bunch of kids, and it was late. It was like midnight now. It's getting midnight, 12:30. And I asked them about, could they give me directions to the highway or something. They didn't even know what I was talking about. They looked at me funny. So I found my way to one of those 7-Eleven places, a store, brightly lit up, and go inside, and I'm walking around. I really don't know what I'm going to do. And, I'm trying not to be scared, out of my tree. And I'm just, sort of pacing. And I come out and I just about ran into a woman. And she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm lost." I said, I have no idea where I am. She says, "Where do you want to go?" And I told her, I want to be back on the road going toward Binghamton, then toward Albany. And she had a kid, she had a child, a daughter. I mean, she was a teenager. And she said, "I'll tell you what you do." I have all those fun. She said, "You get in the car and you follow me, and I'll take you where you need to go." So I got in the car, and she took me exactly where I had to get on the highway. And then she disappeared. I don't know. I didn't see the car anymore. She just disappeared. But when I got back, I was right where I should have been. And I never thought about it till I was writing this, because we barely spoke. She knew I was in trouble and she helped me. And from what I've read, it's possible that it was an angel encounter, you know. Anybody here ever?
I already told you all my story.
So I'm thinking of the one after my there were
Oh, yeah.
there was like a woman and her daughter.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
dogs.
like a service dog or something.
Oh,
and-
yeah, we met them in the bathroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they saw me very drunk up. It was a time. And then we were at famous grocery, I should probably mention that. And we're like eating, and they stopped by our table.
Yeah.
But they basically told us that they bought food, and we even like checked with
Yeah, well, they
Yeah.
said something and I went,
really good.
What?
Oh, cool, thanks.
okay,
It's
thanks,
like, what-
thanks. And then we went, what? And then we went to pay and they said, no, that table took care of you. Yeah.
And then we didn't see them again. It was kind of
It was they said in the one book, it's been noted that George Washington had an angel sighting visit at Valley Forge, which is interesting because that was a bad time for him. I mean, it didn't go into any detail, so it didn't tell me, you know. And the other one that was reported that I thought was interesting was Johnny Cash. Twice in his life, the first time he was 12, and the second time he was an adult, like 24, I think. And both times, the angel, and it was angel like, told him of an impending death of a relative in his family. Many stories are beautiful. Have you had an angel encounter? Have you had an angel encounter? Hebrews 13:2 in the NIV says, "Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by doing so, some people have entertained angels without knowing
That's really good. Really thorough.
it." One thing I didn't show you, this was, they're seated at the throne of God, but you know, it's hard if you don't do it up there.
Right.
Raphael's on